The girl I loved the most, Lu Ruyan, suffered from severe depression. She neglected herself, self-harmed, even sought death, and I saved her countless times. But no matter how much I loved her, she was still drawn to another young man who was also battling depression. She defied everything just to save him. In my past life, I swallowed my own feelings, becoming a solid rock so that she could support that young man. I covered his tuition fees, paid his father's hospital bills, and found him the best psychological counselor. I watched them take step after step toward the light, while I endured such profound suffering that I developed a mental illness myself. I thought that she would finally look at me just once, but she merely laughed and joked with him. She even told him, "Look, he's so obsessed with me, he's going crazy." Those words wounded me to the core, and simultaneously, my mother's illness relapsed. She committed suicide in the hospital, unable to bear the heavy burden of suffering in her heart. When I died, I was consumed by a bone-deep hatred. And now, I have been reborn into the first day I met Su Hao. All those memories are still vividly intact, and my heart is surging with pain and fury. I saw Lu Ruyan again, the girl I loved the most. She pulled a young man over to me and loudly demanded, "Are you going to help him?" I stood there dumbfounded, staring at the girl in the white dress with her hair tied in a ponytail, realizing in shock that I had returned to the most crucial moment of my life. Should I help Su Hao again? Both Su Hao and Lu Ruyan were suffering from severe depression. They were also desperately poor students, who couldn't even afford enough food. Su Hao's inherent gloominess seemed to be what attracted Ruyan, a person sharing a similar plight, making her single-mindedly determined to pull him out of his misery. Lu Ruyan always said, "I was drenched in the rain once, so I want to hold an umbrella for him." That was her philosophy. She had no parents, was raised by her biological aunt from a young age, and suffered years of abuse. Since childhood, she had battled depression and pain, self-harmed multiple times, and even attempted suicide. And only I was always by her side, doing everything I could to pull her out of the abyss. But now, she had become a beautiful girl, full of confidence, proud like a princess. The scars from her self-harm were gradually fading. As for me, the one who helped her overcome everything, I was never once seen in her eyes. In her eyes, there was only Su Hao. In the past life, though my heart was filled with agony and bitterness, I still decided to help Su Hao so Ruyan wouldn't be angry with me. I poured out all my money and effort like a fool, holding an umbrella for both of them. Under that umbrella, they laughed and talked happily, enjoying their beautiful life. Meanwhile, I was drenched by the rain. In the end, Su Hao emerged from his depression, held Lu Ruyan's hand, and walked into a prestigious university, embracing a bright future. As for me, the extreme pain caused my hereditary mental illness to flare up, forcing me to quit school and be admitted to the hospital for treatment. I will forever remember the sight of Lu Ruyan turning to smile at Su Hao and say, "Look, he's so obsessed with me he's gotten sick. It's really funny." I will also never forget my mother kneeling and pleading with Ruyan, "Please be a little kinder to him, so he can stay sane." In response, Lu Ruyan merely gave a cold reply. "He loves me, but I don't love him. Don't try to bind me with morality, okay?" Because of this incident, my mother's illness relapsed. She finally committed suicide in the hospital. And I descended into madness day and night until I died. I clenched my fist tight. All the memories rushed back like a storm. I squeezed my eyes shut, then glared at the couple in front of me with hatred boiling in my veins. Help or not help Su Hao? You're asking if I'll help Su Hao? Get lost. The frigid words burst from my throat. I looked at Lu Ruyan with bloodshot eyes, nearly losing control. Lu Ruyan flinched, her small face flushing with confusion, immediately followed by anger. "You dare to yell at me? You dare to scold me?" Perhaps my previous unconditional forbearance had caused her to lose all sense of reason. She couldn't believe I dared to raise my voice at her. "Yes, I'm scolding you. You are nothing but an ungrateful, selfish, and cruel person." My face burned with indignation. Ruyan was stunned, unable to believe it. And Su Hao, standing beside her, looked at me with displeasure and said, "Chen Yi, you don't have to help me, but don't insult Ruyan." I sneered. Who do you think you are to lecture me? I am your benefactor. If you want money, get down on your knees. My eyes were filled with loathing as I looked at Su Hao, the one who had trampled on my kindness in the past life. He accepted my help but constantly mocked me behind my back, saying I looked down on him just because I had money. After getting into his prestigious university, he even came to jeer at me. Thank you very much, Chun Yi. You're truly magnificent. You only got into a community college yourself but helped me get into a top university. It's true that you've gone mentally ill. A person like that deserves to be depressed for life. Chun Yi, are you crazy? Do you think you're great just because you have some money? Lu Ruyan finally recovered her senses, her eyes revealing clear anger and discontent. She pointed a finger at my face, her voice indignant. I'm telling you, Su Hao is poor, his father is bedridden, and he himself is bullied by friends. His situation is even more miserable than mine. You are not allowed to humiliate him. I just laughed coldly. I knew those things too well. In the previous life, not only did I handle the medical expenses for Su Hao's father, but I also dealt with the bullies, and even hired a psychologist for him. How pitiful. Why doesn't he just die? I burst into an uncontrollable laugh. Lu Ruyan trembled all over, furiously shouting, Chun Yi, you are truly heartless. She looked at me with eyes full of rage, raising her voice. I'm giving you one last chance. Are you going to help Su Hao? If not, from now on, we don't need to be involved with each other anymore. Let's pretend we are strangers. There it was, that familiar trick, the way she used to threaten me every time I showed even a hint of hesitation with her demands. In the past life, she made me comply with threats like this because I had invested too much love and sacrifice in her. I couldn't bear to lose her, because she was the bright moon in my heart. But this time, I had lived a life already. My illness had been cured. My mother's death had served as a wake-up call, making me realize that Lu Ruyan was not worthy of my love. I burst into loud laughter. It's the first time I've seen someone use that kind of threat. I'd rather raise a dog than you. At least a dog knows how to wag its tail at me. You're not even as good as a dog. My words were a powerful blow to Lu Ruyan's self-esteem. She stood frozen, unable to believe her ears, her face pale with anger, but mixed in her eyes was a flash of horror. She rummaged in her pocket, took out her LV handbag, opened it, and pulled out a bank card, throwing it at me. Fine, take your card and get out. Don't you dare think of helping me with anything ever again. You chose this yourself. Lu Ruyan screamed in exasperation. This card was originally one of a pair of couples' bank cards I had given her. Every month, I deposited at least $3,000 yuan into this card for her. On holidays and special occasions, I would transfer large sums like $5, $200 yuan or $1, $314 yuan, just so she could live comfortably and lavishly. Yet, she never refused this card because it was a source of money she needed. But now I caught the card, smiling brightly. Your handbag and your shoes were also bought by me. Hand those back too. Anger exploded in Lu Ruyan's eyes. She stood motionless for a moment, her gaze filled with pride and expectation. She thought I would yield and apologize to her like before. But this time, not only did I not compromise, but I also demanded the handbag and shoes back. Fine, you will regret this. Lu Ruyan threw the handbag at me and kicked the shoes far away, then dragged Su Hao away. Su Hao didn't say a word, maintaining his usual gloomy expression. I kicked Lu Ruyan's dirty shoes into the trash bin. I kept the handbag, intending to use it for shopping. Later, Lu Ruyan turned back as they walked away and saw me kicking her shoes into the trash. Her face contorted with anger, but in the end, she gritted her teeth and left. I looked up at the blue sky. The anger subsided, leaving only remorse and sadness. In my past life, I lived such a pathetic life. I even caused my mother's death. Looking at the date today, it was indeed Mom's birthday. For many years, this was the first time I truly felt the significance of this birthday. I felt a sting in my eyes, and tears welled up. I had never celebrated her birthday, only sending a text message of congratulations. Immediately, I rushed out of the school gate to the luxurious mall downtown and bought a Van Cleef & Arpels bracelet $4.43,000 yuan. My family was not short of money, nor was I short of bracelets, but I had never given my mother a single gift. This time, I was determined to do it. After buying the gift, I bought a bouquet of carnations. Previously, I only bought roses. I had never chosen carnations. Thinking back, it was funny, because carnations were the only flowers my mother would never throw in the trash. After buying the gifts, I returned to school, just in time for the afternoon class. As soon as I walked in, I saw all my classmates staring at me, because I was holding a bouquet of flowers and a luxurious gift box. My classmates began to tease. Chen Yi buying gifts for Lu Ruyan again? How romantic. The laughter was mixed with pity, as everyone knew I was obsessed with Lu Ruyan. They all thought I was buying a gift to apologize to her again. Sitting in the front row, Lu Ruyan looked up and gave a slight, proud smile, as if she knew everything in advance. Clearly, she thought I was buying the gift to apologize and beg for her forgiveness. I smiled faintly, slowly walked closer, and said, "Lu Ruyan, you don't deserve this gift. Let's act like we don't know each other." I looked into her eyes and articulated every word clearly. The entire classroom fell into sudden silence. The students around us began to realize something was wrong. Lu Ruyan froze, her face turning pale, her lips trembling slightly. Clearly, she never expected me to say something like that to her. "Who do you think you are? These are the carnations I bought for my mother. You are not worthy." That sentence instantly drained the color from Lu Ruyan's face, as if she had just been slapped. A few boys in the back even shouted in encouragement. "Well said. Mother is number one." Lu Ruyan couldn't tolerate the humiliation, sprang up from her chair, and furiously rushed out of the classroom. When I returned to my seat, my phone immediately received a text message from Lu Ruyan. "Chen Yi, you are going too far. So you are determined to push me away from Su Hao, right? But let me tell you, I have experienced suffering, and I must hold an umbrella for Su Hao this one time. I know you love me, and you are deliberately playing hard to get to pull me back, but I will never abandon Su Hao. Without me, he cannot survive." I couldn't help but laugh. It was clear Lu Ruyan was still delusional, thinking I was pretending to leave to make her come back to me. Perhaps it was not strange that she thought so, because no matter how angry I was before, I always ended up apologizing and humbling myself to her. In her eyes, I was just a coward, blindly loving her like a dog. I replied to the message with a single word: "Idiot." Then, I blocked her contact number. This was something I had never dared to do before. I had never once blocked Lu Ruyan's contact. On the contrary, whenever she got angry, she was the one who blocked me first, forcing me to beg on my knees, buy gifts, transfer money, and plead with her to unblock me. But I must say, this felt incredibly refreshing. After school ended, I went home in high spirits. As soon as I stepped inside, I saw my mother wearing an apron, busy in the kitchen. Her face showed a hint of fatigue but was still full of worry. She was always worried about me, often reminding me, "You are still young, you don't understand love completely. You must study hard so you can have a bright future. You're so infatuated with Lu Ruyan that you neglect your studies, and I'm very worried. Love must be mutual, and Lu Ruyan has never truly loved you. You must realize that soon." My mother's persistent advice from the past now echoed in my ears, tightening my heart. Looking at her busy figure in the kitchen, my eyes involuntarily blurred. I rushed to hug her from behind. She turned her head and smiled. "Chen Yi, you're home. I'll make you beef stew tonight." I fought back tears, presented the gift, and said, "Happy birthday, Mom." My mother froze, unable to believe her eyes as she looked at the gift in my hands. "You bought this for me?" "Yes, for my dearest Mom." I hugged her tightly. Although I was now a head taller than her, in my heart, she was still magnificent. My mother's eyes welled up, then she looked behind me. "Are you not bringing Lu Ruyan home today? It's Friday." Normally, I would bring Lu Ruyan home. She also liked staying at my house because it was spacious and had a luxurious bathtub, which suited her perfectly for taking photos to post online. But in those pictures, I never appeared. My mother, after repeated contact, understood her true nature and had advised me many times to stay away from her, but I only rebelled against my mother. But now, I firmly replied, Lu Ruyan is not worthy of coming to our house, Mom. She's not worthy of a single one of my fingers anymore. My mother was surprised, then overjoyed, nodding repeatedly. Good. That's wonderful. Actually, I don't forbid you from dating early, but you must love the right person. You must remember that. My mother's words awakened me once more. If I had listened to her earlier in my past life, I wouldn't have lived a miserable life and died in a mental hospital like that. The phrase, love the right person, resonated in my head. The image of the nurse Lin Qingxue at the hospital appeared in my memory. She was my high school classmate, and later became my private nurse in the hospital. In my past life, when I went crazy and was admitted to the mental institution, I learned that she came to work as a nurse at that hospital because of me. During my lucid moments, I realized she was a classmate who was always quiet, never drawing attention. She once confessed, Chen Yi, I came to work at this hospital because of you. You are too foolish now. Back then, when everyone looked down on me, only you helped me once when I was bullied and gave me money to buy lunch. You may have forgotten, but I still remember. I wanted to tell you for a long time that Lu Ruyan is not a good person, but I didn't dare. You loved her too much. I could only laugh, Noi Ngo idiotically, when I heard that, because at the time I was a mental patient. But this time, I will no longer laugh foolishly, because Lin Qingxue is the girl I should cherish. I had the first happy birthday celebration with my mother. I even ordered a cake and called my father home. He was typically a workaholic who never remembered my mother's birthday. I threatened him. If you don't come home, I won't inherit your family business. I'll go work as a laborer. He was both annoyed and amused. You're a clever boy. All right, I'm coming right away. That evening, my whole family gathered happily together. There was nothing happier than that. Over the weekend, I was determined to change myself, getting a new haircut, buying new clothes and shoes, shedding the worn-out appearance of the foolish, infatuated man I used to be. From now on, I had two goals: to get into a prestigious university and not to disappoint Lin Qingxue. As for Lu Ruyan, she no longer held any significance. She was just a speck of dust in my life. On Monday morning, as I walked into class, the students in the back cheered. Chen Yi, your new haircut looks so cool. You look really sharp. I smiled, walking past Lu Ruyan without a second thought. She sat still in the front row, her expression calm, staring straight ahead, seemingly treating me completely like a stranger. But her eyelashes trembled slightly. Clearly, she couldn't remain calm. She still thought I was just pretending to play hard to get, waiting for me to come back and apologize. But this time, I paid no attention to her. My eyes stopped at the classroom door, and my heart fluttered slightly. Today, Lin Qingxue would be joining my class. I felt a little nervous. Before long, the homeroom teacher led a petite girl into the room. She had short hair, wore a simple school uniform, and her face showed obvious nervousness. Her shoes were worn and faded, but she was actually very pretty. She just always looked down, not daring to look anyone in the eye, appearing timid all the time. After a brief introduction, the homeroom teacher asked, "There are 3 empty seats left in the class. Does anyone want to sit with Lin Qingxue?" The 3 empty seats were, one next to me, one next to a female student by the window, and the last seat in the back row. In the past life, because I was only focused on Lu Ruyan, I didn't even notice Lin Qingxue's appearance. In the end, the teacher seated her next to the girl by the window. This female student disliked poor people like Lin Qingxue, giving her a look full of disdain, which made Lin Qingxue nervously apologize repeatedly. Meanwhile, the surrounding students laughed and mocked her. But in this life, when I saw Lin Qingxue standing there, nervously twisting her hands, I immediately raised my hand and said, "Teacher, please let her sit next to me." The whole class turned to look at me, including Lu Ruyan. She stared at me in astonishment. I smiled and continued, "Qingxue, come sit next to me. I don't have a seatmate yet, and I'm a little lonely." Lin Qingxue was surprised and slightly delighted. She quietly sighed in relief that someone was finally accepting her. So, she came and sat next to me. I occasionally caught her secretly glancing over, looking timid and shy. During the break, she took a small packet of biscuits from her bag, offered it to me, and whispered, "Thank you, Chun-Yi. I'd like to share my cookies with you." I smiled, shaking my head. "It's nothing. Don't thank me, you're a good person." She bowed her head shyly, placed the packet of biscuits in my hand, and turned away. I took a piece and tasted it. To be honest, the biscuits were already stale and no longer delicious, but I felt very happy. Just then, a note from Lu Ruyan was passed to me. I opened it and read her cold, arrogant handwriting. "Chun-Yi is so childish. Do you think you can provoke me by getting close to that country girl? And you dared to block me. You are only throwing away your own chance. This past weekend, I cooled down and planned to give you a chance to apologize. But you chose to get involved with that girl. Fine, then stay with her. Don't ever dream of me coming back." I chuckled, tore the note in half, and tossed it into the trash. Then, I opened my English book and asked Lin Qingxue, "Qingxue, how did you do this exercise?" Despite being poor, Lin Qingxue was very good at studying, especially English, which was my weakest subject. She was very surprised, as if no one had ever asked her for help before. Her eyes lit up, and she said, "Let me see. Ah, you do this exercise like this." From one English exercise, we began to talk more. Day after day, we became close friends, keeping no secrets from each other. I realized that Lin Qingxue was very adorable. Every time she smiled, 2 dimples appeared on her cheeks. Her short hair further emphasized her pure, clean appearance. But if she was less self-conscious and held her head higher, she would have been a stunning beauty in the class. I wanted her to be more confident, so I decided to take her to a fancy restaurant on the weekend to experience something new. There's a saying, city kids are confident and bold, because they are used to fancy places since childhood. Poor kids, who may have never been to a luxury venue, often become very timid when entering a chic restaurant. I led Lin Qingxue to the most luxurious Western restaurant in the city. Her eyes widened in surprise. She stood at the entrance, clutching her hands nervously. "Qin-Yi, this place looks too fancy. Don't go in, it's very expensive, let's not go." She wanted to pull me out, but she didn't dare reach out and pull my hand. I smiled reassuringly. "You helped me study English. I owe passing the university entrance exam all to you. You helped me so much. This is just one meal I'm treating you to. Besides, there's a discount here. It's only $80 yuan." I tried to convince her, even though the truth was that a meal here would cost at least $800 yuan. 80 yuan is still too expensive. How about I take you for some stir-fried rice noodles instead? Those are delicious too. Lin Qingxue was still worried, reluctant for me to spend the money. I held back a laugh and gently pulled her inside. We sat by the window. Through the glass pane, we could see the busy shopping street, bustling with people. Many people turned their heads to look inside the restaurant. When the beef steak was served, I cut it into small pieces for her. But seeing her fumbling with the knife and fork, I immediately said, "Just use chopsticks, they brought chopsticks." She sighed in relief, picked up pieces with the chopsticks, and ate comfortably, which made me happy too. Before, whenever I used chopsticks to eat with Lu Ruyan, she would get annoyed and scold me right in the restaurant. With Lin Qingxue, we enjoyed the meal together naturally and comfortably, without any pressure. While eating, I suddenly noticed someone looking in from outside the window. I turned and realized it was Lu Ruyan and Su Hao. Both were holding stacks of flyers in their hands. They were probably distributing flyers nearby and happened to see us. My eyes met Lu Ruyan's. Her face tightened, revealing an obvious look of disbelief. Su Hao still kept his head down, maintaining his familiar gloomy expression. Lin Qingxue also recognized Lu Ruyan and became a little worried, but I reassured her. "Don't mind them, let's just enjoy our meal." She was slightly surprised, but then nodded and continued her meal. Lu Ruyan stood there, her face flushed red from the sunlight outside and also from anger. It was a very hot day, and she must have been seething with fury seeing this scene. After leaving the restaurant with Lin Qingxue, we prepared to do some more shopping. As soon as we stepped out the door, Lu Ruyan rushed up to me, glaring at me with deep resentment, almost shouting, "Chunyi, what is your intention?" I pretended not to understand. "What intention do you mean?" She gave a cold, mocking laugh. "Everyone in class knows I'm distributing flyers in this area, didn't you know? Did you deliberately bring Lin Qingxue to this restaurant to eat just to provoke me? You are unbelievable." I looked at her with cold eyes, my voice sarcastic. "You think too much. Whether you're distributing flyers or going crazy here, I don't care. Who I want to eat beef steak with is my business, and it has nothing to do with you." Lu Ruyan grew even more furious upon hearing this, her voice strained. "Are you feeling smug? Now I'm so poor I have to work part-time to earn money, while you take your new girlfriend out for a fancy meal. Do you feel like you've won?" I shook my head, not bothering to pay attention to her, and pulled Lin Qingxue's hand to leave. Seeing this, Lu Ruyan furiously shouted after us, "Fine, you keep going. If you refuse to help Su Hao, no matter what you do, I will never come back to you. I'd rather suffer with Su Hao than look at your face." I chuckled, didn't bother to turn around, and only shouted back, "If you want to suffer, you'd best take Su Hao to live together in a garbage dump." I couldn't care less. Lu Ruyan trembled all over with anger, standing still and watching us walk away. I turned to look at Lin Qingxue, seeing that she was also blushing, shyly holding my hand tightly. "You're blushing, Lin Qingxue. Relax," I joked to calm her down. She bowed her head shyly, and quietly said, "I really don't want to upset or hurt Lu Ruyan." I patted her head and smiled. "Don't worry, this has nothing to do with you. Let's go shopping." It was a wonderful weekend. I took Lin Qingxue to shop for clothes, shoes, and accessories, things that would help her look more confident and radiant. Gradually, she began to get used to these upscale places and no longer felt awkward or scared. I realized that she was becoming more confident and beautiful every day, losing the timid demeanor she had on the first day. Time flew by. In just half a month, Lin Qingxue and I became much closer. She consistently helped me with my studies, especially English, my weakest subject. With her help, my grades improved remarkably. Every time I saw her proud smile when I got an exercise right, I felt an inexpressible happiness. But this change in me bothered Lu Ruyan. She started deliberately publicizing her relationship with Su Hao in class. Every time school ended or during breaks, she would call Su Hao to the classroom, and the two would sit intimately together, drawing the attention of the whole class. One day, when a classmate asked if Su Hao was her boyfriend, Lu Ruyan loudly and proudly replied, "Yes, he is my boyfriend." The class buzzed, and all eyes turned towards me. Seeing this, I immediately took Lin Qingxue's hand and said, "Qingxue, I'm hungry. Shall we go have steak?" She was surprised, her cheeks flushed, and she quickly shook her head. "Steak is too expensive, stir-fried rice noodles are fine." She was genuinely worried about money, because the last time she found out the price of the dress I bought her was over $3,000 yuan, she was so angry she didn't speak to me for 5 minutes. I had to pretend to cry for her to calm down and talk to me again. "All right, stir-fried rice noodles are delicious too." I smiled cheerfully and pulled her along. We went together to a streamside eatery, sat enjoying the cool breeze, eating simple, inexpensive, and delicious rice noodles and grilled dishes. And Lin Qingxue looked extremely happy and relaxed. As we walked out of the classroom, I glimpsed Lu Ruyan's complexion turning pale. She looked at me with eyes full of anger and disappointment, her hands trembling from clenching her pen too tightly. Day after day, with Lin Qingxue's encouragement and help, my academic results improved leaps and bounds. I was already a student in the top $10 of the class, but now my scores had moved into the top $5. Perhaps this was the power of genuine love and encouragement. However, I still noticed that Lu Ruyan was absent from school today. A friend behind me turned and whispered, "Hey Chinyi, I heard your ex-girlfriend didn't have money for lunch, fainted yesterday, and is probably in the hospital now." I paused momentarily, thought for a bit, and then shrugged. Is there still someone who faints from hunger these days? That's hard to believe. But thinking it through, I understood. In reality, Lu Ruyan's family background was very difficult. Before I helped her, she had also suffered from hunger and lacked everything. She was simply returning to her true position now. A boy sitting behind me snickered. "You are truly decisive, Chan Yi. But I have to admit, your taste in women is much better than before. Now you've even managed to win over the class's goddess." Lin Qingxue was the goddess he was referring to. Since being by my side, she had gradually changed, no longer bowing her head timidly but starting to be more confident and strong. Every time I complimented her beauty, she would flash a proud smile and wasn't shy about showing off her adorable dimples. She now knew how to coordinate her outfits, wear short skirts, or try new hairstyles, which made many boys in the class start noticing and admiring her. Lu Ruyan also noticed this. Although she always pretended to be arrogant and uncaring, her eyes still secretly glanced towards us with an unconcealed resentment. To retaliate, she started bringing Su Hao to our class more frequently. Every time school ended or during breaks, she would call Su Hao to her side and talk intimately in front of everyone. Once, when a classmate asked if they were a couple, Lu Ruyan didn't hesitate to say loudly, "That's right, Su Hao is my boyfriend." A commotion erupted throughout the class, and everyone's eyes turned towards me. I gently took Lin Qingxue's hand and said, "Qingxue, I'm hungry. Shall we go have steak?" As we prepared to leave the classroom, Lu Ruyan saw the sight of me holding Lin Qingxue's hand, and her face instantly turned pale, her eyes filled with disbelief and anger. But I didn't bother to pay attention, just pulled Lin Qingxue's hand, and we left together. This time, I had truly left all the painful memories of Lu Ruyan behind. I loved the weekends when I could wander everywhere with Lin Qingxue, finding the simple, local eateries that she liked. Sitting together at a streamside stir-fried rice noodle stall, we ate and chatted, enjoying every moment of freedom, without needing to care about others' opinions. Time flew by, and Lin Qingxue and I grew closer, forming a relationship that was impossible to hide. From someone who always bowed her head awkwardly, she could now confidently look straight at me, smiling brightly like a flower just blooming in the sun. School life continued, and the distance between me and Lu Ruyan grew wider. She began to realize that I had genuinely changed and was no longer the foolish lovesick person who always chased after her. Even so, her pride still made her try to appear aloof and arrogant. She seemed unable to accept that I had completely moved on and cut ties with her. As for me, with Lin Qingxue's encouragement and guidance, my academic performance continued to improve. I was no longer struggling in class but had climbed into the top $5, and together we were aiming for a top university. But one weekend, I heard the news that Lu Ruyan had fainted from hunger and had to be hospitalized. Classmates whispered that she didn't have enough money for food and living expenses, which caused her to collapse from exhaustion. Another classmate sitting behind me quietly murmured, "I heard your ex-girlfriend doesn't even have money to eat now. She just fainted and had to go to the hospital." Hearing that, I just curled my lips into a faint smile, without a trace of sympathy. I secretly thought, perhaps this was the karma she had to bear. I once helped her without regret for anything, and now she was simply returning to her reality. The other students started discussing. "You've truly changed, Chen Yi. Do you really have no lingering feelings for Lu Ruyan anymore?" I just smiled faintly and replied, "The past is gone, and I have no reason to care about her anymore." The whole class was abuzz again. Friends started looking at Lin Qingxue and me with admiration. Since being by my side, she has gradually become more confident and bold. Her appearance also became prettier, no longer the self-conscious, timid girl she once was. Lu Ruyan returned to class after being discharged from the hospital, but her appearance was haggard and exhausted. It seemed that life's difficulties had changed her. But her eyes, when looking at me, still held a mixture of pride and resentment, as if I had betrayed and hurt her. I thought to myself, if she had been even a little empathetic towards me in the past life, and hadn't been so cold to my mother, perhaps I wouldn't be this heartless now. She never placed me in her eyes, only saw me as a pathetic lovesick fool, a puppet in her hands. During the break that day, Lu Ruyan unexpectedly passed me a note. I opened it and read her arrogant handwriting. "Chen Yi, you still care about me, right? Do you remember that you were the one who caused me and Sue how many difficulties? His father is bedridden. We don't even have money to eat. But I will never come back, and no matter how hard you try, you won't change me." I couldn't help but smile faintly when I read this. Her words were still as arrogant as ever, always looking down on others, without any hint of regret or self-reproach. I tore the paper, calmly threw it into the trash, then turned to smile at Lin Qingxue, continuing my studies and ignoring the negative thoughts about the past. As time passed, Lin Qingxue and I grew closer. She gradually became an indispensable part of my life, and I also felt peace and happiness whenever I was with her. The sincere affection between us deepened daily, natural and pure. Our goal remained to pass the entrance exam to a top university together, and to achieve that, we both studied hard, not letting up for a minute. Thanks to Lin Qingxue's support, my academic performance significantly improved, and I also always helped her when needed. We gradually became the ideal couple in the eyes of our classmates. As for Lu Ruyan, it seemed that the hardships of life had affected her greatly. She appeared in class with a haggard look and poor complexion, no longer the confident princess she once was. Although her eyes still often followed me, I felt nothing but indifference. Everything that once existed between us was now merely the past. But one day, just as the break ended and the classroom fell silent, Lu Ruyan suddenly pulled Su Hao into the room. She laughed loudly in front of everyone and declared, "Look everyone, Su Hao is my boyfriend. We are very happy." The whole class suddenly buzzed, and everyone's eyes turned towards Lin Qingxue and me. Clearly, she was intentionally publicizing the relationship to provoke me, wanting me to see it and be jealous. I didn't bother to pay attention to them. I just turned, took Lin Qingxue's hand, and quietly said, "Qingxue, let's go get lunch." She looked at me in surprise, her face showing a hint of worry, but then she nodded in agreement. I pulled her hand, leading her out amidst everyone's astonishment, ignoring Lu Ruyan's furious and resentful gaze behind us. Stepping out of the classroom, Lin Qingxue hesitantly asked, "Chunyi, don't you feel sad seeing that?" I smiled, gently patting her head. "The past is just the past, Qingxue. Now, the person who matters to me is you." Upon hearing this, Lin Qingxue's eyes sparkled with joy, and she gently nodded, her face turning red with shyness. My heart also felt light and peaceful. From that day on, I realized that true affection was what mattered, and the schemes and pretense of someone like Lu Ruyan were no longer worth my concern. The university entrance exams were fast approaching. Lin Qingxue and I studied harder than ever, helping each other prepare for the most important test of our lives. Every day, she dedicated time to tutor me in English, while I helped her improve her math scores. We spent hours together in the library, studying and sharing our dreams for the future. When the exam day arrived, the whole class gathered to encourage each other. Everyone was nervous, but next to Lin Qingxue, I felt truly confident and calm. We held hands as we entered the examination hall, promising each other that we would try our best to achieve our dream. After the exams were over, Lin Qingxue and I left the testing room together, holding hands tightly. We knew that no matter the result, we had tried hard and overcome the biggest challenge. We didn't need to look back at the past anymore, because ahead of us was a future full of hope and sincere love. On the day the university exam results were announced, the whole class gathered at school to wait for the crucial moment. The atmosphere was lively and nervous. Everyone was looking at their phone screens, anxiously checking their results. Lin Qingxue sat next to me, her hands clasped tightly together, her eyes unable to hide her anxiety. I gently squeezed her hand to reassure her. "Don't worry, we tried our best. Whatever the result, you did very well." She looked up at me, giving a gentle smile. At this moment, the test results were available. I opened my phone, entered my code, my heart beating just as fast as hers. After pressing search, I saw my score appear, $651 points. When I read that number, I almost couldn't believe my eyes. This was the best result I had ever achieved, certainly enough to get into my dream university. Next to me, Lin Qingxue was also crying tears of joy. She hugged me tightly, emotions overwhelming her. "You did it, Chunyi. You are amazing." She spoke through her tears. I wiped her tears away and gently said, "Now it's your turn to check your score." She hesitated, opened her phone, and entered her code. When her score appeared, we both laughed with joy. $653 points. She scored 2 points higher than me. We both passed. We're going to the university we dreamed of, I said, my heart filled with happiness. She smiled and instinctively hugged me tighter. While we were sharing our joy, in the front row, Lu Ruyan was also checking her score. Suddenly, I heard a cry of disappointment from the front. $490 points. No way. The entire class turned to her in shock. A student sitting nearby said in amazement, "Lu Ruyan, you only got $490 points? You must have forgotten to fill in the code or filled it in incorrectly." In the past, Lu Ruyan was one of the top students in the class. She was the one who had helped Su Hao improve his academic results, helping him get into a top university. But in this life, she failed disastrously, scoring only $490 points. This result was enough to shatter all hope. People whispered and discussed. Many clicked their tongues in regret. She ruined her own future just by chasing after Su Hao. A classmate quietly added, "That's right, ever since she broke up with Chun Yi, she's really declined. It's a shame." Just then, Lu Ruyan looked up, her eyes red, filled with regret and despair. She turned and looked at me, her face full of pain. I maintained a calm appearance, but there was not an ounce of pity in my heart. For me, everything had ended a long time ago, and now I only wanted to move forward with Lin Qingxue, not offering a single word of comfort to her. Because in the past, she had never cared about me or my family. When the score announcement ended, the class began to disperse. I held Lin Qingxue's hand, my heart overflowing with joy at the thought of the future we would share together at the university. Suddenly, before we could leave the classroom, my phone vibrated with a text message. It was from Lu Ruyan's number. "Chun Yi, I regret it now. Can we go back to how things were before? I know I was wrong, I'm sorry." I looked at the screen for a moment, then deleted the message without replying. At the same time, Lin Qingxue gently squeezed my hand tighter, looking at me with trust. She didn't need to ask anything further, nor did she need to say any words, because we both understood that the painful days were left behind. Only one thing was certain in my heart: the past was closed. Now, I would move forward with the girl who truly deserved me. In September, as autumn arrived, Lin Qingxue and I walked together through the gates of the university we had both dreamed of for so long. She was as happy as a small bird, walking and looking around, pulling my hand to take pictures everywhere to send to my mother. Looking at Lin Qingxue's radiant smile, my heart was filled with happiness. In the past life, I lived in a mental hospital, and she was the nurse who cared for me with silent love and great sacrifice. But in this life, we had become young students, starting a new future together. "Qingxue, thank you," I quietly said, my eyes full of affection. She tilted her head and asked back, surprised, "Thank me for what?" "I just want to thank you for always being by my side," I replied. She smiled, squeezed my hand tightly, and said, "There's nothing to thank me for. I will always be by your side. We still have to grow old together and build our future together." I laughed. "So when we're old, will you still want to kiss me?" "You're impossible. You really are a fool." She turned away, blushing with embarrassment, but her charming dimples made her look so cute. Time passed in peace and happiness. 2 months later, on an afternoon when Lin Qingxue and I were standing outside her dormitory, I unexpectedly received a message from an old friend. "Chun Yi, do you know? Your ex-girlfriend, Lu Ruyan, has been admitted to a mental hospital." I stood still, utterly surprised. The friend continued to narrate. After the university exams, she failed terribly. She couldn't get into university and was dragged back to the countryside by Su Hao. I heard she suffered a lot of misery, and her mind was eventually damaged to the point of going insane. Su Hao was also detained for domestic violence. All of this even made it into the news. Who would have thought? It turned out that Su Hao's cruel life had caused Lu Ruyan's breakdown. She had chosen him and abandoned me, yet she could not escape this tragic ending. I listened and couldn't help but sigh with resignation. It was truly a case of sowing the wind and reaping the whirlwind. Lu Ruyan had once looked down on me, mocked me, and even saw my suffering as a joke. She once said, "Look at Chun Yi, he's so obsessed with me he's going crazy, it's hilarious." But now, she was the one who had to suffer that consequence. As for me, I no longer felt anything beyond a touch of pity. Lin Qingxue noticed my silence and quietly asked, "Is something wrong, Chun Yi?" I smiled, put my phone in my pocket, and gently replied, "Nothing at all. Let's continue. Today is our date." She smiled softly, taking my hand. We continued walking together. My heart was full of joy, knowing that I had truly found the girl who was the most sincere and deserving of me. Lu Ruyan and the painful past were completely sealed off. Now, I only wanted to live fully in the present and build a beautiful future with Lin Qingxue, the girl who had redeemed my life.